In case you are a teacher working in an overnight theocracy that is forcing you to display the Ten Commandments in your classroom, here is a suggestion. These are the Ten Commandments in Wookie speak, the language of Chewbacca. Here, let me play it for you real quick. Okay, I'm back. See, your students can learn how to say all of the Ten Commandments in Wookiee speak within less than 30 seconds. And then you can go back to doing the job that you were actually hired for. And that is to teach the course the children desperately need to learn. Whatever it is that you're teaching, they need to learn it. Okay? And oh, by the way, this video is not to say there's anything wrong with someone worshiping as a Christian. I did not make this video to knock at individual Christians. I want to make that clear. The issue is this is supposed to be a democracy where people of every background beyond most things pay taxes for public services like schools to educate their children. This is not a theocracy where religious institutions like churches use the money that have generated from tithes and offerings to run the schools in the nation. If people want to educate their children in their faith, which is perfectly fine, then they can pay the tuition at a private school that is run by their community. The problem here, beyond it being unconstitutional, is that Christians are not the only people contributing tax dollars for public services and public institutions. There are people of other religious backgrounds, as well as non-religious people, who are paying taxes and funding the different services and institutions within the nation. It is not fair for religious zealots of any background to hijack tax funding and then redirect it to be spent at the discretion of their individual community. It's like a robbery from the other folks. Also, their community did not produce all of the children that are attending the schools. Those children belong to different communities. Religious zealots are attempting to do the same thing they have accused the LGBTQIA plus communities of doing by influencing other folks' children into their religion. Why? Because religious zealots have historically been mean to women. Red hat men are finding it hard to go on a date nowadays. It's because they are mean and oppressive, typically. Religious zealots have driven the talent out of their isolated rural communities for decades, and they are not reproducing enough people to sustain their communities into the next generation. The birth rate decline. So what they are doing, they have resorted to weaponizing legislation in a desperate attempt to remedy or mitigate the consequences caused by decades, or some can even argue centuries worth of poor treatment towards various groups of people who used to live around them but fled. This is the reason why they are hijacking the tax funding on top of playing Jedi mind tricks in order to conscript other people's children into their community in a desperate attempt to save themselves from the pending economic collapse due to insolvency. Insolvency basically means they are going to get to a point where they are unable to pay their bills within their community because there is not enough income coming in from tax dollars within their community. There are not enough people around to pay taxes because they fled. It is also the reason why they are now anti-abortion, but I digress. Back to conscripting other folks' kids into their community, the religious zealots need to do like other communities and be nicer to women. And then naturally, more babies can be born within their culture who will practice their religious belief. However, that will be impossible for many of them because they are on sniffies and grinders causing blackouts. You can't be two places at one time.